All right, hello everybody. This is Arspis. Today we're going to talk about philosophy again. Uh, well, there are some people and they say that philosophy is pointless, and the reason that they actually come to this kind of a strange conclusion is that because they think that they cannot make money out of philosophy, and that is somehow true. If your purpose is just making money out of philosophy, well, I have to say you will not make that much money from philosophy unless you go to the university and you get your PhD and then you teach at university and you will get a not that much money from philosophy. So philosophy is not for making money, but we cannot actually consider philosophy as a kind of pointless knowledge because this knowledge goes back to I don't know, thousands of years ago. If you consider some philosophers like Confucius and some pre-Socrates philosophers like Parmenides, Heraclitus, and then after Socrates, because Socrates believed the God, the God that cannot be seen and it cannot be touched. It was a little bit different of the God that was uh, being worshipped by uh, Greek people in that time because they were worshiping different gods, and then Socrates said, no, there's just one God. Okay, then you have to worship that God. Okay, and then the philosophers after Socrates, they were somehow believers, but they were not believers like the believers that we have in religions, like what the believers in Christianity, in Islam, and other religions. All right, because he was thousands of years after Moses, and he was approximately about 500 years before Jesus Christ. So uh, he actually proved the existence of the God by his wisdom. But anyway, they put Socrates into trial and they killed him. Everything that we know about Socrates today is from his student Plato. And then Plato also believed that the God exists. And then Aristotle, the big philosophers, when I say Aristotle, I'm talking about a big person. He also said that yes, God is a non yeah, the definition of Aristotle of the God was uh, not moving mover. It means that God is something that it makes changes in everything, but he does not change himself in any way. All right. But it is very complicated. I'm not talking about the definition of God according to what Aristotle said and the way that he proved the existence of the God. Because today, people say that, all right, we cannot prove the existence of the God by the science, and they are true. The science cannot prove the existence of the God, then knowledge can do it. And there is a delicate difference between knowledge and science here. But in philosophy, we think more about fundamental issues that we have in our lives. What do I mean by fundamental issues? It is very, very different by the things that we have in other sciences or knowledges. The fundamental issues, for example, we think about the existence. So, what is existence? What happens to us after we die? And what is morality, for example? We think about those ethics, and they are important uh, because when we talk about the ethics, when we talk about the existence, when we talk about something that we call as a kind of fundamental things in our lives, these fundamental things may improve the quality of your life because they improve the way you think. The way you think about different things that they surround you in any circumstances you are living right now, they are important. All right, maybe you think, okay, what is the pragmatic action from this kind of thinking? Thinking about those fundamental things around you. Uh, well, honestly, nothing. Philosophy is not about pragmatic action. In psychology, they say something and, they just say, okay, we found out that this is true and you have to actually abide this kind of statement. For example, you have heard it thousands of times from different psychology. You're not going to be able to pass judgment about other people. But in philosophy, we don't think that way. For example, in philosophy, we consider what is reality and what is truth and how they are different. And then, uh, if a philosopher told you that, okay, this is reality, but the truth is something else, then you are free to accept it or not accept it. Okay? You have to refer to your wisdom, and then if your wisdom says, all right, that it sounds correct, then you accept it. And then you are free to pass judgment about it. Passing judgment about different phenomenons in philosophy or, deep thinking or something like that is just like freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not a word or phrases, something like that. It is freedom of thought, and then you can actually express it to the other people. When you see somebody who's and that person sounds to be ignorant, but you want him to be intelligent or wise about some specific thing, you say, all right, let us talk about it. Let us have dialogue about it, all right? And then you say, all right, I can prove that what you say is correct and what you say is not correct, all right? You're actually passing judgment about about the way that person thinks. As far as you don't insult that person, it is okay. But psychologists say you should never pass judgment about anything. You know, it is something stupid. For example, about the difference between reality and truth. The reality is something that which has already happened. Some people do not know the difference between reality and truth. Reality is something that which has already happened. For example, right now at the moment of recording this video on YouTube, we have a devastating war between Russia and Ukraine. And Russia invaded Ukraine. We all know about that. And the victims are innocent people from both sides, I think. The Russian soldiers and innocent civilians from Ukraine. This is the reality, all right? Everybody knows what reality is. But what is the truth? There should be a truth behind this war. Should be any war in the world or not? And why the war happened, you know? Uh, when you understand about the truth, then you will actually look at this phenomenon in a kind of different way. They say, okay, the truth is that there should not be war anywhere in the world, but what caused this war to occur? And then you can actually pass judgment about even policy, although you did not study politics in university, but you're looking at the issue in a kind of moral way. So, philosophy will give you morality. Philosophy will increase your wisdom. Philosophy will disturb you a little bit, but I will talk about that in detail in another video. And philosophy is good for you. But next, I will talk about philosophers and a person who knows philosophy. It is also very important. Who is philosopher and who is a person who knows philosophy? Stay tuned. Thank you very much and take good care.